Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you and welcome. Premier Boxing Champions presents the official press conference for the main event in our big night of action coming your way this Saturday night, May the 1st, from Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California, and brought to you by TGB Promotions. Well, our main event features an explosive showdown between two heavyweights. In fact, two heavyweights that are the greatest Mexican-American heavyweights in boxing history. And now, let's take a closer look at the world-ranked contender and hard-hitting slugger, Chris the Nightmare Arreola. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a closer look at the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, Andy the Destroyer Ruiz. And Andy Ruiz joining us by himself at this time, maybe joined by his son a little bit later. But bringing to your attention our pay-per-view event will commence at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. in the Pacific. Features 4 all-action, fan-friendly and all-Mexican heritage extravaganza, including, of course, our featured attraction, the men on the stage right now who will be headlining in our main event. Now, my pleasure to hand over for our Q&A session, Fox Sports reporter Heidi Androl.
Thank you very much, Jimmy, and welcome to all of you watching around the world and the media who's joined us here today. We are just 3 days out from this epic pay-per-view. Of course, the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, Andy Ruiz Jr., taking on three-time challenger and all-action fighter, Chris Arreola. All right, guys, I know that I said heavyweight. Weight, I'm emphasizing that term because that has kind of taken over this promotion. We'll begin with you, Andy. 283.5 pounds is what you weighed in at your last fight, nearly tipping the scales at 300 when you stepped into the ring. What do you anticipate weighing on Friday and then further on Saturday night when you touch gloves?
Yep, I was at 310 pounds when I started camp, and we started losing weight slowly but surely, and I should be like at 255, 257, and a lot of people are saying that, is he still going to have that power? Is he still going to hit hard? But of course, man, we've been working really hard for this moment, and, we're ready for whatever comes my way.
Is this the best fight weight you've been at?
It is. It's just the best fight weight that I've been at, and not just the best weight, but I feel good.
Sure. All right. Now, I do have to ask you actually one more question. Will there be pre-fight Snickers? Is that banned now? You can't have the pre-fight Snickers anymore?
I don't know.
All right. We'll figure that out on fight night. All right. I want to head over to Chris. Chris, you're looking slim and trim. I know you said this isn't a bodybuilding competition, but what do you make of the weight loss? I know you've lost some weight as well. Do you think there's any disadvantage to Andy Ruiz losing in that weight?
No, to be honest, we're heavyweights. As long as we weigh over 200 pounds, every punch is going to hurt regardless. Even if it's 240, 230, 220, we're in the heavyweight business, and this is the hurt business. This is very a skillful fighter that is going to come into the ring. So I'm ready for whatever he has to offer.
What do you weigh? What do you anticipate weighing in on Friday?
Mid 230s. But the thing is, I worked so hard that it just been all falling off. I'm not trying to lose weight. I wasn't trying to come in 230 or 235, whatever I come in. The thing is, it's just hard work, and the hard work is going to show on Saturday.
Chris, just before we came onto the stage, you told me that you're ready to fight. Just being able to see him here today. How does that make you feel, being able to see Chris Arreola here today?
Well, it's motivating, I haven't seen him since a long ass time ago, so now that we got the opportunity to fight each other and, give the fans what they want to see, it's a privilege.
I know that there's mutual respect between the two of you, but leading up to this fight, Chris has said he wants to turn you into a Buster Douglas. What do you say to that?
That everyone has a plan until they get hit. That's what I say, and You know, I got to do my business. He got to do his. And, you know, at the end of the day, I pray for me to become victorious. I pray for both of us to come out healthy and to be with our loved ones, you know, with health. But better man wins on May 1st.
Do you believe you have the fastest hands at heavyweight?
I do believe, and you know, I'm not where I want to be at, but I'm way better than I was before, like I tell everybody. And you know, I have a lot to prove to this day right now.
You know, Chris, you broke a number of records in your last fight against Adam Kovnatski. I want to stick to the punches thrown, averaged around 100 punches thrown. Andy only in the 20s against Anthony Joshua. Do you feel, though, I spoke to Joe Goosen about this yesterday, Adam Kovnatski was the kind of opponent that brought out that volume. Do you feel as though you're going to have that kind of output against Andy Ruiz Jr. on Saturday?
To be honest with you, they're both two very different fighters. You know, with someone like Adam, you know, we just bang it out, slugged it out. And with someone like Andy, you know, I have to be very aware at all times. He has fast hands, obviously, by far one of the fastest hands in the heavyweight division. And I have to make sure that I bring my hands back and move my head because this is going to be a great fight. It has to be a great matchup.
Speaking of bringing the hands back, moving the head, I know you've changed trainers. You're now under Eddie Reynoso, and you're down in San Diego with some great champions in that stable, including Canelo Alvarez. I want to know, what do you feel as though, in terms of your boxing, you have improved most since joining that team?
I think the lack of discipline that I had, that I did not have before, and now that I'm learning, you know, you can't play boxing, you know. You got to work hard. You got to be disciplined. You can't just be ready whenever you have a fight day. You have to stay ready, you know. So that's one of the main things that I work. Besides try to perfect every single punch that we try to do or combination, the head movement as well. But being disciplined is the main key.
How is the game planning different, if at all?
The game plan, you know, it's always, you know, to become victorious and to win our fights, you know, but we have little strategies that we're perfecting and, you know, combinations, throwing the punches the right way, because before it was a lot different. But every trainer, I learned a little by each trainer, and I appreciate every trainer that I had. But I feel being here with Eddie and Canelo was the best move.
How often was Canelo there? We saw on social media it appeared to be a lot.
Yeah. Well, when I train, he trains. You know, we train together. So he gives me little tips when I'm doing something wrong, and you know, I feel that's what they should do. You know, since we're a teammate, we want the best for each other, and you know, we wanna win all the time.
Most definitely another man who wants to win all the time. On my left here, Chris Arreola. Speaking of training, this is your second camp. Under the watchful eye of Joe Goosen. You know, I spoke with him yesterday. He said you're focused, you have an apartment, you know, your family is not there. You only brought the dog, and that was just for a week to the gym. In terms of your focus and having been under Joe for the last fight and this one, given that Andy's only been with Eddie for this camp, you've got the benefit of two. How does that favor you in this fight?
You know, the thing is that I know what Joe wants me to do. I know that he wants me to work hard every time. And the part that sucks that he's constantly watching me. He's still watching you right now. I can see. And I don't have no time off. You know, I can't take a round off. So it's just hard work. There's no substitute for hard work, and I appreciate that out of Joe. That, you know, he's constantly has his eye on me, even when I don't think he's looking at me. He's looking.
Joe, you're looking. You constantly have your eye on him. What have you seen in this training camp, and what has impressed you most?
Well, he had a great training camp against Kovnatski, and I think that, you know, manifested itself in the numbers, just if nothing else. And that was a good camp. This was a great camp. You know, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say it was 5 times better than the first camp. I think we got to know, well, because we got to know each other a little bit better. I think Chris understood what, you know, I really wanted. And, you know, he worked his way into my system, even though I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here with him. I'm just trying to make Chris Arreola the best he can possibly be. And that takes cooperation from him. And he's been very cooperative. And I think that's the key to both of these fighters. They're both cooperating with their trainers, and that's a big, big plus for both of them.
As a trainer, I'm sure that means a lot. In terms, Chris, I want to ask you about, just what this means to you. Do you feel as though this fight is perhaps a little more personal than the last?
Not personal, like in the fact that I dislike
Sure.
Andy, but I respect him. I have the most respect that I have for any fighter that I fought, and that's why I trained extra hard for this fight, because I know this is going to be a rock'em sock'em kind of fight. It's going to be one of those battle of attritions, and I worked hard for that. And this fight is one of those fights that I need for my resume.
For your legacy.
For my legacy, exactly.
Andy, you had it all. You lost it all. Where do you stand right now mentally?
Right now, I'm motivated, and I kind of did like a self-death to myself. I killed the old Andy, and I reborn the new Andy. So I have a lot to prove, and I felt like I let all my people down, and my family as well. So that's why I had to make a big change. I had to make a big change to myself, and to take it serious, because I know what I'm capable of doing. I know what I could accomplish. I know what I have inside to become a two-time Mexican heavyweight champion of the world, and that's exactly what I need to do. I need to get back on the ladders, get back on top, and being disciplined, working hard, and doing the things that I'm supposed to do is going to take me that far.
What is key against a guy like Chris Arreola?
No, Chris Arreola, he's a strong man. He comes forward, he takes punches, and he gives punches as well. So I think the speed, the combination, and the things that we've been working on at the gym, I think that's gonna outthrow him a little bit.
I have to bring your son into this for a second, because we've seen him on social media as well. He threw you under the bus backstage. I just want you to know this. He told me Canelo is a way better salsa dancer than his father. What do you say to your son on that one?
Yeah, and I agree. That's his thing. But it's
Have you learned a little salsa since you've been down there?
A little bit, but
I won't make you do it, I promise.
No, but it's a privilege to have them, open the doors for me and my kid too. They spoil him a lot there, so it's really nice.
Chris, I know that I mentioned that you've sacrificed a lot, right? You haven't been around your family for this training camp. Does that serve as an extra motivation? And have you done that in the past for your fights?
Not to the extent that I did for this fight. I had to maintain focus. I had to make sure that I had Andy on my mind. I had to make sure that I put everything, my best foot forward in training camp, that I put my best foot forward. When I had to wake up in the morning, the sheets couldn't get stuck to me. So I had to get up and go run or go do the stairs, whatever I had to do, man. I had to do every sacrifice to beat this man, because this man is a mountain of a man. And I don't mean by size, I mean just by strength and everything, all around kind of a man.
Defensively, when you fight a pressure fighter, obviously the defense is key. What have you done defensively, Chris?
Work nonstop on defense with Joe. That's one thing that we emphasize on this fight. Counterpunch and make sure that we bring those hands back. I don't want another Bermain Stavern happen to me twice. The first fight he broke my nose. The second time he knocked me out. And you know what, man? I can't have that happen in front of my kids, in front of my fans. All I know, I'm gonna give him more, and I'm gonna give him a great fight.
Joe, what would you like to see from your fighter come Saturday night?
You mean I'm not going to,
I'm sure you'd like to see a lot.
Divulge everything.
Yeah.
Look, what I think what I'd like to see and what you're going to see are going to be about the same thing, because I think if there's one thing that's really obvious and apparent here, both of these guys stepped it up. They stepped up their game. They're probably both in the best shape they've ever been. They're going to give the fans, if they were exciting fighters before reaching the pinnacle of what they're doing right now in terms of conditioning, imagine what it's going to be Saturday night. I just think it's going to be really a fight for the ages, one that you're not going to forget. They both want to win. That's number one. They both want to win, and they both worked really hard at it, and they're both big, strong, hard-hitting heavyweights. I mean, those are ingredients for a great fight and a great night, and that's what I think we're going to see Saturday night.
Well, you couldn't have transitioned me into my final question any better. Andy Ruiz Jr., what are we going to see on Saturday night?
I think it's going to be all action fight, you know. I came to win, he came to win, so, you know, God willing, we get this victory, and, you know, all this sacrifice and dedication we did in the ring is going to pay off, and I'm pretty sure they're thinking the same way. But like I said, everyone has a plan until they get hit, and I just got to do my job.
Before we leave and allow you guys to leave the stage, I'd like to invite both of our fighters up to the podium for some quick final remarks. We'll start first with Chris Arreola.
Well, Saturday's coming, and I can't wait. Tomorrow's coming. It's just another day in the office, and I put in the hard work. I put in the days in the gym, and on Saturday it's time to showcase. It's time for both of us to go to war. It's time for us to leave all friendship aside, because at the end of the day, you know, I consider him a friend. I consider him a boxing friend. But again, once you step in the ring, friendship's out the door until the last bell rings. Then I'll shake his hand and go home to my family. At the end of the day, I know it's going to be a great fight, and I appreciate this opportunity, Andy. And let's make history.
Thank you very much, Chris. All right, now the former unified heavyweight champion of the world, Andy Ruiz Jr., for some final remarks.
Well, I just want to thank God for me being back in this position, you know, after my last defeat against Anthony Joshua. I know I let a lot of people down. I know I got to prove to a lot of people, not just to a lot of people, but to myself. And, you know, all the hard work and dedication that we've been doing in the gym is finally here, you know. Yes, se hizo la machaca, so we did all the hard work, we did all the discipline, and, you know, I know Chris Arreola is here, he's ready to try to knock my head out, you know, just like how I'm trying to do to him. And, you know, like he said, we're both friends, we'll hug each other, we'll say what's up, but once we're inside the ring, we got to put the switch on, because at the end of the day, we're two fighters trying to feed our loved ones, we're trying to, you know, provide for our children, and, you know, all the dedication that we've been doing is going to pay off. And, you know, best of luck to Chris Arreola, and, you know, God willing, we will take the victory. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, you can leave your microphones on the stools, and we'll have a final face-off here for the media. It's the heavyweights, and they collide Saturday, May 1st, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll send it back to the desk. Ray?